Have you ever been in a meeting just staring at a wall of text on a screen and thinking to yourself, this would make so much more sense as a flowchart? Well, what if you could make that happen with just one click? We're going to dive into the AI revolution that's turning plain, simple text into professional-looking diagrams almost instantly.
I mean, we've all been there, right? The old way was just a pain. You had to open some clunky software, drag and drop shapes, wrestle with getting the arrows to line up, resize everything. It took forever. But the new way? It's completely different. You just write a sentence. That's it. The AI takes care of all the tedious stuff.
And look, this isn't just a tiny little improvement. It's a massive shift in how we work. We're moving away from being people who operate tools to people who communicate ideas. The focus is no longer on mastering some complicated program, but just on getting your thoughts down clearly in writing.
And this is where it gets really practical. Just imagine finishing up a brainstorm, highlighting the notes you just typed out, and poof, instantly generating a visual summary you can share with the entire team. That's the kind of power we're talking about here.
Now, this isn't some far-off, futuristic concept. It's happening right now. Let's take a look at a real-world example that's making this a reality. A tool called Napkin AI. It was literally built to close the gap between having an idea and seeing it as a visual.
And you know what? It is catching on like crazy. Napkin AI has already pulled in over 5 million users. That's a huge sign that people are absolutely desperate for a better, faster way to visualize their ideas.
And this isn't just some popular freebie tool either. This is a legitimate business bringing in $1.7 million in annual revenue. That tells you that this technology isn't just useful, it's something people find valuable enough to actually pay for.
This quote from a review really just nails it. The key is that text-first approach. It completely democratizes design. If you can write a sentence, you can now create a professional-looking diagram. No design skills needed.
So how does this magic trick actually work? Okay, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. The engine driving all of this is a technology I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about, large language models, or as you know them, LLMs.
So, to put it simply, an LLM is a type of AI that has been trained on a truly mind-boggling amount of text. Think of it as having read a huge chunk of the internet. This allows it to understand not just words, but the relationships and the logic connecting different concepts, which, as it turns out, is exactly what you need to build a diagram. The process basically works in 3 steps. First, the AI reads your text and figures out the main ideas and how they're connected. Second, it digs into its training where it's seen millions of examples of text paired with diagrams, so it knows what good looks like. And finally, it uses all that knowledge to generate a brand new visual that logically represents what you wrote.
All right, so now we get the how, but let's talk about the why. Why is this technology blowing up right now? Well, it's because it solves some incredibly annoying and persistent problems that teams have been struggling with for years.
Yeah, researchers have been pointing out these headaches for a while. Doing it by hand is painfully slow. The diagrams almost immediately get out of sync with the actual code or the real business process, and keeping them updated, it's a total maintenance nightmare that, let's be honest, almost nobody does.
And this isn't just about things looking pretty. When your diagrams don't reflect reality, you get real problems. New hires get confused, developers build the wrong thing, and entire projects can get seriously delayed.
So how can you actually use these tools to get the best possible results? Well, it turns out there's a whole spectrum, from being super simple to being surprisingly powerful.
For most of us, this is all you'll ever need to do. You just write your text or copy and paste it from somewhere else, click a little button, and let the AI take its best shot. It gives you a fantastic starting point with 0 effort. No special codes, no prompt engineering, none of that.
But what if you need a bit more control? This is where things get interesting. On the left, a simple request is basically a suggestion to the AI. But look at the right. By using simple keywords like step or decision, you're giving the AI direct instructions. It's a whole different level of interaction.
And that's really the big takeaway for becoming a power user. When you add just a little bit of structure to your text, you shift from suggesting an idea to instructing the AI on exactly how to build the visual. This gives you incredibly precise control over the final diagram.
So this is obviously a really powerful new way of working, but where is all of this headed? And what are the limitations we should probably be aware of right now?
Well, the biggest benefit, without a doubt, is speed.
We're talking about collapsing a process that used to take hours of frustrating manual work into just a few seconds. That frees up a staggering amount of time for people to focus on, well, a new level of creative and strategic thinking.
But let's be real, it's not perfect, at least not yet. Researchers point to some pretty big hurdles we still have to clear. For one, training these AIs requires huge, specific data sets that are hard to get. The AI also still struggles to understand nuance and the designer's true intent. And when it comes to generating visuals for really complex systems, that's still a major challenge.
So this technology is getting better and better at automating the how, handling the layout, the styles, all that tedious work. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question. With that burden finally lifted, what new, more ambitious, and more incredible ideas will we finally be free to imagine?